We're looking at AI right now as something that either you're going to adopt and like leverage into your business to become more efficient and more effective, or you're going to resist it because you don't believe in it. Well, what happened to all of those people that, didn't want a mobile phone? They now all have one in their pocket 15 years later.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. I am not live from Miami. I keep saying live from Miami. I'm not live from
We're
Miami.
not.
Leanne, great to see you here in Miami.
Yes, it's nice to be here.
British people doing podcasts. Well, you're South African
I am
technically.
South African, yes.
But you're adopted British.
I am.
What are you doing in Miami?
I have just done an awesome workshop in Miami with people that want to learn how to use affiliate marketing to grow their businesses. And it was rather exciting because we had an eclectic mix of people in the room, from Zumba to Forex companies and everything in between that. And it was just really exciting to have conversations with people that are really engaged and want to learn how affiliate marketing works for their business.
Oh, okay. And you've been to something else up
Yeah.
I was going to say up north as well, but
well, down west. We've just come back from Performance Inc. Live, so PI Live. It's an affiliate marketing show for the retail and e-commerce industry.
Wow. Okay. So what's the mood just whilst we're in America? And
everybody's talking about tariffs.
That's what I was going to say. Tariff. It has killed off some of that drop shipping China stuff, hasn't it?
Well, it's killed off a lot of things where obviously imports are going to be affected, but I think also we're a little bit prematurely maybe panicking about something that might not happen because there's a lot of retractions happening right now.
Yeah.
And I think good business practice when any big news comes out is to always think ahead and think about how it's going to impact what you're doing, with your marketing, with your spend, with your sales. But I think the most important thing is, don't panic. When anything big happens, when a recession happens, is actually to stay the course and to move through and to keep things consistent and keep things moving forward. Obviously, you will need to be reactive if you're in an industry where, price hikes are going to be a problem, but then start to think laterally and think, well, if people are going to become more price conscious, what kinds of partners do you need to be working with? Do you actually shift your budget away from kind of paid media and social media, and do you put it more into cashback and loyalty? So really thinking about your strategy and learning how to kind of like read between the lines of all the hype is important.
It's really interesting though, because like you think about tariffs and you go, oh yeah, e-commerce, but it affects margins on product.
Of course it does.
So
different products are going to become popular.
Yeah. And then there's ad spend, and now you have to you've got to be really careful because you can't flex as much because your margins it's like, it's kind of fucked around with.
Well, I think also it's forcing you to be innovative because you might want to differentiate and stop spending too much money on a particular product that's maybe highly priced, and start maybe marketing a lower product level in your suite if you're in e-commerce. But also if you're thinking about like health and wellness, if you're thinking about like luxury style goods, like you might want to think about how do you position your product so that people will continue to buy it through a really tricky period. Like, do you start focusing more on value instead of on like being the best? So like changing the narrative a little bit and getting your partners to understand that.
It's that kind of brand loyalty as well, isn't it? Like,
totally, yeah.
If people like what you do, can you convince them to kind of spend a bit more to stay with you?
And build more authentic relationships, because sometimes people don't only promote you because of what you're paying them or what you want them to sell. They're promoting you because they're getting really great service. So educating your partners on how these things could be impacting their business and what the trickle down effect is, because you're in the moment, you're doing your thing, you're spinning your wheels, you're getting your traffic. You're not actually thinking about how a tariff's going to impact me in 3 months time or in 6 months time, or is it going to impact me at all because of how diversified. So it's a great opportunity, great talking point to actually bring up conversations with partners and kind of help them to understand how to navigate it in their business too.
So how's AI messing with all this? We talked about tariffs. How's AI messing with all of this kind of affiliate marketing?
Well, I'm actually a massive believer in AI. And I think that affiliates and affiliate managers that are adopting AI and really leveraging it early in their business right now and using it as an augmentation piece to whatever service or product they're selling, I think those are the ones that are gonna survive. I think those that are vehemently resisting, and we're seeing a lot of this in the content space as well. It's panic stricken for let me actually rewind that. Go back to the early days when we first started with mobile phones.
Yeah.
Nobody ever thought that, from the little flip phone or the Nokia brick, depending on how old you are when you're listening to this, nobody ever thought that a mobile phone would be something that could now become a mini computer in your pocket.
Yeah.
And we're looking at AI right now as something that either you're going to adopt and leverage into your business to become more efficient and more effective, or you're going to resist it because you don't believe in it. Well, what happened to all of those people that,
Didn't want
a mobile phone? They now all have one in their pocket 15 years later. So I think you really need to be an early adopter and start exploring and understanding how AI is going to fit into your business and into your marketing strategy and execution. You might only want to use it in one segment. You might only want to use it in terms of augmenting customer service. You might only want to use it to, help you generate content ideas and themes. You might want to use it for graphics and creative. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to replace people, because partnerships, affiliate marketing, it's all about people.
Sure. It's interesting you said that. When the phones came out, we really did not know where the phone would go.
No.
Like, social media became possible because of the mobile phone.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things people say, what do you think of DeepSeek and Claude and Gemini? And I'm like, I'm just using one.
Yeah. That's all that you need to be doing right now, is just adopting one piece of AI technology that makes sense for your business, that makes sense for whatever it is that you're selling or delivering, and start to play with it. Start to actually see, how does it augment? How does it change the way that you think about doing things, or change the way that you create a campaign, or change the way that you talk about your product, and leverage what it's giving you to still make it authentic for whoever you're directing that piece of content to. I don't think it's going to replace humans. And I could be wrong. In 15 years' time, you can come back and podcast me again, but I really don't think it's going to replace anything.
If we do the comparison with mobile phones, we did not know where it was going to go. So we can't even possibly foresee how this pans out. We can think about copywriters and website developers all being lost. But there's also the Amazon example to think of how we thought Amazon would get rid of and Kindle would get rid of, paper books, real books.
People still buy them.
Now, books are like a big deal. People like reading the books because it's more tangible. It's an experience.
It is an experience, yeah.
But you've also got the same thing from direct mail.
I actually think, old tactics are coming back in fashion. There's almost like a cyclical thing that happens.
Like, there's nothing more impactful now than sending something customized in the post.
Well, unboxing. I mean, look at that. That's physical to virtual. And that's coming back in a big way. Gifting is a really big part of affiliate marketing at this point in time. And also, thinking about, how do you have these interactive moments with your partners to keep them engaged in what it is that you're trying to get them to sell? So making sure that you're leveraging all of these touch points and experiences. It's not just about sending an email anymore. It's about, how do I get onto their WhatsApp? How do I get onto, and we actually had this discussion today. One of the programs that were in the room, they were working heavily with influencers, but only on YouTube. And I said to them, I don't look at YouTube. I'm your demographic. I'm at the top end of your demographic. And I don't look at YouTube. I go onto TikTok to get reviews before I go and look for a product, whether it's cooking or whatever it is that, I like looking at food, clearly. But and they kind of sat there and looked at me and went, we never thought about that. We've only ever invested in YouTube influencers. And I was like, why? Because they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're pretty much everywhere. And you need to go where your customer is, and in the channel and or format that your customer is wanting you to engage with them. And there's a thread that's happening in digital at the moment, which is about, it's not about touching the customer at the moment when they actually convert. It's about being there for every moment, from the discovery phase to the consideration phase, when they're looking for, like, maybe price, if they're being price driven,
but that's
messy, to then convert.
Because it's not.
It's hugely massive.
There's not.
There's no one.
We talk about attribution, and what caused that person to buy.
It's a series of moments.
You can identify the last moment.
Yeah, you can.
But that's not the reason they bought. There was a series of things that happened, and I think it was Google. I've said this a couple of times, because when something happens and you go, finally somebody said it. There is no perfect customer journey.
No, there is none.
There's no
It's completely
clean,
fractured, and that
linear.
is because of mobile, and it is because of
Yeah,
social media channels,
it's
and
the
it is
access
because of
points.
different and also different types of content. Think back 20 years ago when we started in digital, there was only a search engine, which then led you to a website, which then led you to an email list, which then led you to,
Yeah,
get told something and buy something.
and then social media was actually at the beginning. Social media was it's another way to get people to the website.
Correct.
And now it's a whole thing in itself.
Yeah. So we talk about inbound, outbound, and nearbound. And now what's happening is, so inbound was all the stuff that we were talking about. Outbound is when we decided to actually go and do paid media. So we could paste our ads on lots of different things. We could retarget customers around the web with sophisticated tracking. And now you have nearbound, which is where we're doing partnerships. So you and I are doing a partnership right now. You've got an audience, I've got an audience. And I think AI is going to bring some other kind of whatever bound, but there's going to be this outbound, inbound, nearbound. And we have yet to discover what that is.
Well, interestingly, you talked about YouTube and TikTok,
Yeah.
right? My research used to be Google. It's now all ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I chat to
Generative AI.
ChatGPT all the time about anything and everything. I've hurt my foot, everything. I'm chatting with ChatGPT about it.
Yeah.
But that, and apparently Google's web traffic has
It's
really
actually
taken a
decreased.
hit.
Yeah, by almost 30%.
Yeah.
That's the stats that are going right
That
now.
really kind of brings into question the whole strategy around websites, blogging. And I don't know what the answer is right now, because there's people saying stuff, but we're still at the mobile phones just happened.
Bottom line, and this is brass tacks, 25 years in the industry, you never have all your eggs in one basket. And affiliate actually allows you to disperse. So affiliate is no longer a channel. If you think about digital mediums, you've got social media, you've got search engine optimization, you've got paid media channels, you've got all of that stuff. Affiliate transcends all of them, because an affiliate is a payment mechanism. It's how you actually pay on performance for the delivery of whatever it is that you want them to do. So there is no one size fits all strategy. Some businesses are going to have more paid media because they've got bigger budgets. Some businesses are going to have bigger affiliate programs and disperse on pay on performance. There is a general trend that performance is becoming more popular because it's obviously easier to track, easier to measure, and you're not paying upfront for it. So you can kind of pull many different levers and across many different channels. You can be more social influencer heavy when you reliant on more user generated content, or you could be more, blogger and content and brand top of funnel, whatever it is that you want to be doing. So you've got the freedom and performance to like chop and change, turn it up or switch it down. And that also helps you with your budget and planning, bringing us back to tariffs, because you don't want to be having massive amounts of spend and then only seeing the kind of lag on cost of product 6 months later, but your sales are dropping because, imports have slowed down your product development. So I've just always believed in performance, and there's nobody on this planet that will be able to tell me that you shouldn't be working in performance marketing.
Okay, so I'm going to bring something up that's close to my world that's technically performance marketing, but I don't like.
Okay.
Right. So I get emails all the time, and I want to talk about this for a little bit, from people who say we can help you get leads, and you pay on performance. If you don't get leads, you don't pay. Right. So I've seen this tactic growing a lot, and a lot of people are getting hit up by it. There's two groups that generally come from it, and it's my little gripe. So the first group is actually you are paying. What they say is there's a setup fee or a deposit.
Yeah.
Right. So you see people offering, oh, you don't pay.
Yeah.
And what it means is you pay, but we're going to promise to give you your money back if it doesn't deliver. Right. I think that's disingenuous. And then there's another group of people where it's like, actually, I've just started out and I need to get clients, so I'm doing it on an or you don't pay. And I in the kind of
got some thoughts on that.
well, there's some of it that I just don't like. I'm not talking about like actually people who've got traffic and are driving it somewhere. I'm talking about in my world, I'm going to help you do your LinkedIn or you don't pay. And it's like,
My first thing would be to question that, because nothing in this life is free and nothing good is cheap.
yeah,
There's that metric, that triangle, it's good, cheap, or fast.
yeah,
Well, and you can only have two. I think that's the saying. Anybody that is trying to sell you something for nothing is going to give you very little returns, because if they're really good at what they're doing, their service would be in demand. And it would have a cost attached to it. And I'm not saying that expensive is good. That's not what I'm saying. But I would already be wary if it was sounding too good to be true to start with, because nothing in this life is free. If they were saying, I'm going to do it on a performance base and you give me a percentage of whatever the lead converts into a sale, I'd be happy with that, because then it's a mutual partnership where they are trying to deliver growth and want a response to that growth. It also tells me that they well enough know that they are good enough to bring you leads, because they're happy to work on a performance basis. So they're backing their own horse. But anybody that's going to say there's a setup fee or there's a this or a that, you're already paying for that service in terms of the retainer.
What I don't like is they don't tell you there's a setup fee. It's like they're dangling or you don't pay. You know what I mean? Like I'll dangle the performance just to get the lead and then try and tell you there's a deposit.
Well, there's leads and leads. Let's be honest. There's like leads that are never going to respond to your email. And there's leads that will actually say, it's not right for me right now, but put me in your newsletter, nurture me, and then sell me something. Or I'm really interested in this, but now's not the right time. Or there's leads that just convert straight off the bat. I love everything that you're doing. Thank you very much. Sign me up. So what level of leads are those people bringing you?
Yeah. So let's just think about what you're up to. Yeah. You've built Affiverse from scratch.
I have.
Interesting journey, right?
So interesting being an entrepreneur.
Interesting. Yeah.
How, I guess your next question is going to be, how did we do that? Through consistent, authentic content. I always class us, and in fact, I've just come back from an event where people are like, wow, your brand is huge. Like, how big is your company now? We're a really small team, but because our content amplifies on its own, because it's consistent, it's authentic, and it is genuine. We don't actually do any paid. We've never ever done paid media in our company. Never. Everything is organic. And because of that, I always say that we're a little bit like the Hotel California. You come in and you never leave, because you know that everything that you're getting is consistent, quality, authentic, and relevant.
Just because we're British-ish in America, we have to be a little bit brash.
Yeah.
Right? You started?
I started with a mobile phone 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. You and I met about 3 months into that journey.
Yeah. You're approaching the special number, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
The big 100.
A little bit more. Yeah. The 7 figures. Well, 6 figure. Yeah.
Well, 7.
Well, yeah, 7. Sorry, my maths is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did that feel like? Like when you wake up in the morning, just being honest, right? So use what I do, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how you do what you do, but you do.
35 people with a little bit bigger headcount, but AI's made it a bit more efficient.
Yeah.
There's still sometimes I wake up and go, oh my God.
What have I built here, this beast?
I'm responsible for this.
You are.
How do you kind of deal with that kind of day to day?
Well, I've had a lot of lessons. And I mean, I hear it from you consistently all the time. Pick one lane and do one thing. But I am a little bit different. I mean, I am a bit of a unicorn, and every
time we meet, you've got something new going on.
I know, but the thing is, and that has worked in our favor, but also against us. I will be honest. Like, if we were having a really nice podcast about entrepreneurship, I would be very vulnerable and open and say, I have learned my lessons by failing fast and failing forward. So we try things, we do things, we see what sticks. And what's actually happened in my business is that I've had to pivot every year, because we had like different things. We had COVID at literally like 9 months after we launched. Then we had a recession. We came out and Russia decided that they were going to, nuke Ukraine, and all of that was happening. So then there was price cuts. Then we had like the quietest end of year that anybody's ever had. And we just had to keep navigating and doing new things. And so, the only thing that's really stayed true though through all of that is, one, we've got a service-based model, which then feeds into our content model, which then feeds back into the service-based model. And the training we've added on, because that's just really a passion project for me. I just want to teach the world how to do affiliate marketing better. And what better way to do that than in a workshop and actually get into my community? Because that's the thing, is we've built a really strong community through authentic, consistent content being posted every single day. But I want to meet my community. I don't want it just to be virtual. I don't want to connect with them on a virtual level. I want to meet with them on a physical level. And so we're running now our own events to actually bring, small, medium enterprises together to actually learn how to do digital marketing better. And to me, that's the kind of like the passion part of running a business. The hard part is making the money and finding out which products are going to hit. But the passion part is actually meeting the people and actually talking about real life, real world problems and being able to help them.
So I want to ask you about your kind of building these events in a second, but all those little bumps along the road, they're failing fast, right? A lot of people will run a mile from even the thought of failure.
You can't be a successful entrepreneur if you don't create and fail forward. And you and I are different that way. So you've built a really successful business in, I think we're kind of like flip. You fast forward, and fail fast, and then grow and develop from there. Whereas I take a little bit more time, develop something a little bit more wholesome. I'm a little bit more of a perfectionist, I think.
My event yesterday, I said, we want to try a new event. Let's sell one, pilot, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then second time round, like beta version.
Yeah.
And kind of iterate.
Yeah. Whereas my mind doesn't work that way. My mind thinks this is the end result of what I want. This is the size it is. This is what it is. And so I build just that, and then I run that. And if that fails, then I'll do it again. So, and neither's right or wrong, I don't think.
No, but the interesting thing is, and I'm just doing this on comparison between you and me, right? So me with workshops, right?
Yeah.
I iterate and build them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to kind of make it all like that, right?
Yeah.
So on the workshop side of things, right? Don't take this wrong way. I think I can launch a workshop and sell it.
Yes, you
pretty
can.
fast.
You can. Right? 100%. Hands down.
But interestingly, I've tried to do my approach to events, like bigger scale events, and not got there with that. Whereas you took more time,
launched one out the bat,
and had one, and I showed up and went, "Oh my god, this is great!"
Yeah, that's actually a really great point, because why? Why does that not work for you, but it works for me?
I don't know.
And yet, you've got a massive, your audience is way 5 times bigger, 6 times bigger than mine. I don't know why that is. That's a really actually interesting question. Yeah, but it just goes to show you need to kind of do what feels right for you. Yeah, there's no textbook of what's right and wrong. It just has to be authentic.
I think that's a really good point. We always think there is there's one way. There's the right way to do things. There's obviously, I don't even think there's an illegal way, but I don't think there's a wrong way to do things.
No.
Because you never know what's going to happen until you do it.
Yeah.
I say this to people.
Well, the other thing is we also undervalue. So, okay, so you do small, really great collaborative events and you sell on the back of those events.
Yeah.
I'm not really a great salesperson. So I like to give experiences. I want immersive experiences. And maybe that's why events work, bigger events work for me. And I really enjoy being with people. I feed off the audience that's there, and I want to listen and engage. And I'm maybe more coaching and less salesy, whereas you're more authoritative, and because of that, people then want to buy more. Yeah. Whereas mine is, the whole thing is the end event. Yours, the event is just the beginning to get into your accelerator, for example. Yeah. So we've kind of top down and bottom up, if that makes sense, between us, and we're both good at both things.
And the weird bit is, people go, how the hell do you manage to do 200 workshops in a year?
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you even I don't know. I don't know how you do it. You're always online. But okay, so let me ask you this. You don't feel like it's work though. Whenever I see you, you're having the time of your life. Like you get a kick out of being with the people and
Except when I'm in
teaching
the
things.
office.
In fact, that's the part you hate, whereas that's the part I love. I love being in the office. But like you just want to be out there with the people and talking about the things that you're passionate about. And I think that's what people feed off you in the workshop space. And that suits itself to the workshop space. Whereas I like to ask other people, what are they thinking about? And I'm more of a moderator, less of a teacher, I think. I teach by default because
your zone. You have to be in your zone.
You have to be in your zone, I think. And that's why the event thing works better for me.
So thinking about your zone, you did Elevate, blew me away.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, Daniela, we got to do something like this. Right? So we're working on it.
Yeah.
But I had a really good time at the event. I met loads of really good people. Learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know. You're doing it again.
I am in summer this time. So we're going to have barbecues, chilled out beach vibes, the sky at night.
But the scale you did it at is like,
I know.
I know Danielle's watching. It was insane,
crazy.
wasn't it? It was insane.
Yeah.
Like people coming from all these different businesses
and from all over the world, which I was completely surprised by.
TikTok got me on that rotating thing.
Yeah.
So I was talking to the TikTok guys. There's Facebook there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she did this? So you're doing it again?
I am in July.
Elevate.
Yeah, in London. Be there or be square. But I think my superpower is actually curating the room. So we get speakers that are not on the main drag. You know, they may have spoken at maybe one event in their career, but we find content practitioners, or we find the brightest minds. We convince them to teach, not preach. And I curate all the content for the event. And because I know my subject matter, I'm not just an events person putting on an event for an industry. I am the industry putting on an event for the industry. So the content that we tend to have at our events it's elevated. Like that's the one like key theme that we have from everybody that comes to the event. And the event itself and the experience on the day, like, yeah, you need to have talent to pull together something that makes people feel special after they've left an event. But it's the content that actually sells our event because they can't find that information anywhere else. And they sure as eggs can't spend a half a day or a whole day or 2 days with those people getting that knowledge. It's almost more like a consultancy. Like the way that I run my events is that I want you to come, I want you to learn something, and I want you to leave with 5 things that you need to go and implement that are going to deliver growth. And that is the name of the summit. It's all about elevating your performance, elevating your career, elevating your network, elevating your results. And to do that, you need to be learning from people that actually know their shizzle. So we don't bring anybody up on stage that I haven't personally interviewed, that I haven't actually spoken to and said, these are the topics that I need to answer for my community. These are the things that I would actually like to know. And so we just tend to curate content that is just kind of like really, really good.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of events and like conferences, and one of the things that kind of lets me down is you either get really good, what I'd call inspiring talks, but it's like
but they give you nothing.
But all they do is feel a bit better. Or I've been, particularly in the marketing world, you get the inspirational ones, or you get the entertaining ones, like the TED Talky ones. Or the worst of the worst is the pitch fest.
Yeah, I don't do that.
And
so that's not
yours
allowed.
was none of that. It was like, guys, this is something you need to consider. This is what needs to happen, and this is what you need to be doing now.
Well,
like the whole thing about cookies, you did the whole thing about cookies that people weren't taking seriously.
No.
And it was going to massively shake stuff up.
Yeah.
The GDPR, the US version of the GDPR stuff.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that I'm worried about as a marketer. So if I'm worried about it with my 25 years of experience, how is somebody that's got 5 years of experience coming into the industry going to get that information? And the thing is that none of this stuff's written down. It's actually happening live as we're going through our day-to-day careers and as we're doing our jobs. So the only way that you can learn is by finding the people that are actually the best of the best in what they do. So we've had you up on stage, you're the best of the best in terms of content and LinkedIn. We've had, and this year we've got really awesome speakers that have built communities of 25 million followers with no budget, know the blueprint, and are coming to actually teach you how to do short reels. That's what's hot right now. That's what you need to be doing. Your affiliates need to be doing it. You need to be doing it. Your influencers need to be doing it. Who are you going to learn from? One of the best in the business, who's done it, who's physically done it. So everybody that we bring together either has a specialism, they're doing something right now that's rocking the internet or breaking the internet, or they're just getting amazing results. And all of that has been vetted by me and my team. So before they even get up on the stage,
So
I already know that what they're going to be
there's
teaching.
none of this kind of,
Look at my wonderful case study. I mean,
smoke and mirror
no.
stuff. And interestingly, you mentioned YouTube there, and I know one of your guest speakers is really kind of
Yeah, it's rocking it.
Yeah. But one of the things that people have not really paid attention to is YouTube Shorts.
Well, this is what this guy does.
Like I'm
mad.
all on YouTube Shorts now,
Yeah.
because it's like one thing I think about YouTube, and I think is really important compared to TikTok and Instagram, is your videos are more permanent on YouTube. Because if you think about it, like YouTube just constantly is reserving content.
Yeah.
Whereas on TikTok, if you do a video 6 months ago, probably never going to come up again. Same with Instagram. But on YouTube, you could have a video you did 6 months ago. I've got
And
one at the moment.
resurface.
Let's just
Yeah.
keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah. And so that's why we've got the best coming to speak. So we're looking at all of those trends and we're finding all of the practitioners. And to me, if you go to a conference, and bearing in mind that we're wanting to help the smaller guys grow, like we're wanting to elevate the smaller guys that can't afford to go to big conferences, they don't have thousands of pounds to travel to other countries. We want to bring them to a space where it's also not overwhelming, because there is a lot of information and misinformation on the internet about how to do things properly. And if you're lucky and you find the right people to follow, then happy days for you. But most people are looking at whatever that has the keyword term affiliate in, and they're looking at that and going, that is legit what needs to happen. And so we kind of like, building around that misinformation on the internet and showing you where you can actually trust the information that you're getting from, because these guys are actually doing it. So there's that, but also there's the fact that when you go to a massive conference where there's like 1,000 people or 2,000 people and you're new to the industry, if you're not a born, extrovert, that can be incredibly overwhelming. You don't even know who you're supposed to be connecting with in the room. Whereas when you come to our event, we will make that connection for you. We will introduce you to, what is your problem? How are you looking to be helped today? You need to speak to this person and go and find out about that product, because they will be able to help you with that. So we're almost like matchmaking as well, but in a smaller, more personalized environment. And I honestly feel the people that came to the event last year, that was the one big piece of advice that they said, please don't change this. Don't get bigger. We love the fact that this was small, intimate. And the photos speak. I mean, you can look at the photos on the website as well. Like, you saw people writing notes and taking photos of slides on the screen and, coming out and exchanging numbers on their mobile phones. And I actually stood in the corner for a couple of seconds while I wasn't on stage, and I was just watching everybody in the room, and I was like, the connections that are happening in this room are more valuable than the price of the ticket and the content that we're sharing. Because these people are all going to go away and they're going to go do business together, and they're going to talk about this event, and it's going to change their life. It's going to, we even had one guy that came, he was unemployed, he got his next job. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that I want to be doing for my community. And
randomly, I met people there, and I ended up that evening at dinner with people I'd never met before. And you know what I'm like? I'm not a social animal, really. People I know I'll interact with, but I ended up at dinner with people, and it was great. We had catch up since. Yeah. So it is a really good event, and I'm glad I'm coming back.
I'm glad you're coming back too.
So Leanne, before we wrap up, I want to ask you a couple of things about, where do you think, and this is just it's really difficult right now in marketing to go, what's right, what's wrong, because one, you've got AI churning out stuff.
Yeah.
There's a whole little load of voices. How do you kind of decipher where things are going, given that there's so much conflicting information out there?
I really feel that you need to cut out the noise, because there is a lot of conflicting information that's happening out there. There's a lot of misinformation. In the affiliate and performance industry, recently there was a big kind of hoo-ha about Mega Lag, who is an influencer, who brought out a big piece about PayPal Honey. Cut out the noise and focus on what you need to deliver. There is a lot of information being thrown around, shared, misinformed. Just focus on the simple things. What is your goal this quarter? Who do you need to be connecting with? we try and do too much. I mean, I'm a victim of that. You've told me already. I'm a victim of that. So do less, but get more.
Mm-hmm.
And focus only on 1 or 2 key goals and objectives and forget about the rest. And just pace yourself, because you can burn out really fast doing digital marketing as well. From a budget perspective, from a resource perspective, just focus on the simple things and just try one thing. You know, I had a really good piece of advice from a woman that I met at your Growth Titans event, Heather Murray. And she was like, everybody thinks that they need to try every AI tool that's on the market. You don't. You only need to try one. You need to try one, play with it, see how it can augment your life, test it, you know, train it, whatever it is that you're doing. Just try one thing and then look at the next thing and then look at the next thing. And so just, I think, keep it simple, stupid, you know, kiss.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite phrase.
So on that note, we have got a weekend in Miami now.
We do.
Downtown and then Miami Beach. And
Yes.
then I'm going home.
Okay.
You're
That's
here
good
till...
for you. I'm here till Monday with affiliates and all sorts of people that I'm hanging out with and meeting.
So the next time I'll see you, we'll be at
We'll be in Manchester.
Oh,
no,
Manchester. Growth
we're going
Titans.
to Manchester.
Yeah. So my event.
Yes, let's talk a little bit about your event. Come on.
So what is Growth Titans? Well,
it's awesome.
For those of people that are on the podcast who've not listened, Growth Titans is, think of it as you come and people are going to give you practical ideas to grow. You're speaking?
Yeah, I am actually.
That's good.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'll tell you what I like Growth Titans, because I'm gonna big up your event now. So I loved Growth Titans, one, because it was super interactive. It wasn't the kind of event where, so my event is more you get up on stage, you do your tiny teach or your masterclass or your keynote, and afterwards you'll go for a little bit of networking and lunchtime. Your event was, here's the kind of presentation, but then, and I mean, being me who I am, I was just like, let's open up the floor. Like, what problems and challenges? And people were like, for 20 minutes after my slot finished, we were still talking about people's businesses and their ideas. And they were really, the audience was really there to engage with the speakers that you had brought together. And they were super hyper focused on growing their businesses, wanting to get advice, open to learning from other peers in the room. Like, because they were eventually interacting with each other. I don't know if you remember that, but like, they started off asking me questions, and then they started going, no, but I've done this and you've done that. And to me, that is super valuable, because when you're an entrepreneur or a business owner or whatever, it is a lonely freaking ass journey. And there's very few times that you can ask people and get a trusted response. Yeah, and to me, that was the biggest part.
Usually, the people who are telling you to do something have a vested interest in you doing that thing.
Yeah. Whereas this was totally unsolicited. Everybody in the room was, and I mean, I was there for the whole day, not just for my session. And there were people walking out of there with notebooks and writing and asking questions. It was probably one of the most interactive events I've ever been to, where the audience was just, you know, they got that Slido thing on the screen. These people were just sticking up their hand in old school fashion, asking questions. And the speakers all could answer them. That's what I loved about it.
I've been to I know I'm repeating stuff. I've been to a lot of events where it's like, you have these big keynotes and they're great, you know.
Yeah, they're the hype.
But it's like, I'm here. I do not have a £20,000 a month ad budget. No. I don't have a huge team.
No.
What can I do? And that for me has been the killer piece.
You should have actually called it Growth Hackers, not Growth Titans.
Yeah, but the reason I didn't...
Because that's kind of what it is.
The reason I didn't is because that has a connotation that it will be like a certain group of people. And I wanted it to be, you're a business owner, you're you're not a 22-year-old trying to build, you've built a drop shipping business, that didn't work. You've now done...
No, these are entrepreneurs. These are like hardcore entrepreneurs with products, services, you know, specialisms, whatever it is. I mean, I met such a mix of people at that event as well. There was like people that worked in media, people that worked in like printing and office supplies. There was retailers. I met somebody who was doing pet supply. I mean, that's a massive vertical as well. And to me, that was actually the benefit of going there, is that I actually got to consult and actually meet with a lot of different people in one place.
And there was one person there who was he refurbs multi-million-pound houses.
Oh wow.
So really successful people, they buy this 10 million pound house in Chelsea or whatever, and he goes in and refurbs them.
Nice.
That's a business.
That is a business.
So a couple of weeks time, Growth Titans.
Can't wait.
Again.
In Manchester this time.
Manchester. Yeah.
Are you gonna? So you've got that one in London and Manchester, haven't you?
Yeah, we tried London, but the problem with London for me is most of the business owners we're targeting are coming from all over, and it's quite a difficult trek to
It's a
get to
trek to get to
London if
London.
you're not London
London
centric.
based. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so we've gone Manchester.
So why don't we do a shout out to everybody listening to the podcast and send in your city or town or whatever. Choose a city.
Tell us a city of where we want to be.
And we'll pitch
Choose
up.
a city where you want to be, and we'll do Growth Titans there. Tell us where the best city is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a hashtag or something. Come up with a hashtag. Hashtag Growth Titans City.
Yeah.
Do that.
Pick a city.
Yeah, pick a city.
Leanne, always wonderful to see you. Thank you for
you.
coming on the podcast.
Thank you.